This video looks at dividing decimal numbers by 10, 100 and 1000. So we should be successful by the end of this if we can divide any decimal number by 10, 100 or 1000 using the steps that you will be shown. So we know that if we divide a number, we are making it smaller. We're dividing it up into different, into pieces so they are smaller. So when you're doing your answer, make sure that your answer is smaller than what it started with. We've seen that dividing a whole number by 10, 100 or 1000 can easily be done by getting rid of the correct number of zeros. So that was a little rule that we learned. So let's look at, for example, 4,300 divided by 10 is becoming 10 times smaller, so that goes to 430, or we can think about it as getting rid of a zero. This does not work for decimal numbers. Let's look at the place value chart again to see why. So we've got the number 59.8 and we want to divide it by 10. So let's think of firstly this tens column. So I've got 5 tens or 50. And if I think about 50 divided by 10, then you should know that that becomes 5. So we can see then actually that number is going to move one place to the left, to the right this time, making it 10 times smaller. If we have 9 units then, and we want to divide that by 10, again, that becomes 10 times smaller. So we're going to move that over to the right. 0.8 or 8 tenths also becomes 10 times smaller, and that moves over to the right. And the final answer then, because this decimal does not move, becomes 5.98. So the position of the numbers has changed. They have all moved one place to the right, making the answer smaller. Okay, let's look at another one. So this time we're dividing by 100. We've got 212 divided by 100. So again, if we think about 200 divided by 100, that just becomes 2. So we're going to move that 2 over into the units column. And then everything else is going to follow. So the tens are going to become tenths. So they're going to move over. The units are going to become hundreds, so they're going to move over. And the tenths are going to become thousands, so they're going to move over. The decimal does not move, so it stays where it is, and that number becomes 100 times smaller. The numbers have all moved over 2 places to the right this time to make that answer 2.123. Okay, now let's think about a quick rule for this. You may have noticed already what's happening, or you might have practiced in class using this rule. So, opposite to timesing by 10, dividing by 10, when we are dividing a decimal by a number. 10, move all the numbers one place to the right this time. So it's the opposite of multiplying. So we're going to move them one place to the right this time. So let's have a little look. So we've got 4.53 divided by 10. All those numbers are going to move one place to the right. So if I think about the place value chart, those 4 units are going to move over one place to the right. So I'm going to keep my decimal point where it is. The 4 is going to move over, the 5 is going to move over, and the 3 is going to move over. The decimal point does not move, it's just the numbers moving over. So in front this time, we probably want to add in a 0. Okay, let's look at number 2. This time, we might want to think about that decimal point moving again. Because the number's getting smaller, the decimal point is going to jump one place to the left. So that becomes 60.14. If you want to use that again, move it one place to the right because we're making it smaller, so it becomes 5.871. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at dividing by 100. So this time, when dividing a decimal number by 100, we're going to move all the numbers 2 places to the right. Okay, so thinking about that place value chart, we're moving them 2 places to the right. So this time we're going to have the number 0.1789. The point does not move, but the places have moved over the numbers have moved over 2 places, as you can see. Okay. Or you can think about that decimal point moving. So we've got 301 divided by 100. You might be a little bit worried here, there's not a decimal point shown in the question. So you've got to think, well, where would it be? Well, to make that number keep its value as 301, the point would be here at the end. That still makes that number 301, the point's here at the end. If I want to make that 100 times smaller, I'm going to move that 2 places, 1, 2, to the left. So 3.01. Okay, let's have a look at number 3. Now again, in math space, 10 to the power of 2, remember, is the same as 100. So you can think about that as dividing by 100. So we're dividing by 100, we're making it 100 times smaller, so the numbers are all moving 2 places to the right, or the decimals moving 2 places to the left to make that 8.7105. Okay, let's have a quick look at dividing by 1000. So when dividing a decimal number by 1000, we're going to move all the numbers 3 places to the right this time. So thinking about that place value chart, that decimal point does not move, but the numbers are going to move 3 places this time to the right. So they're going to move 1, 2, 3. So that's going to move over into there. The zeros and the 2 are going to follow. In front of that decimal then, we might want to add in a 0 to show that it's 0.1002. You could also think about that as a decimal point moving again. Remember, to make it smaller, moves to the left, 1, 2, and then 3. It's at the front of the 1. Okay, number 2. Again, we've got no decimal point shown, but that would be at the end. To make it 1000 times smaller, it moves over 1, 2, 3 places to make that number 4.587. And the last one, again, if you see 10 to the power of 3, remember, that is the same as 1000. So you're really saying, right, let's divide by 1000. So we've got 5,871.12 divided by 1000. So all those numbers are going to move 3 places to the right, and that becomes 5.87112. Or think about moving that decimal place to the left 1, 2, 3 places.